It's the podcast not that you deserve, but the one you need right now, because we can take it. Welcome to episode 2 of the official Madison Buy-Sell Trade podcast. Madison, Babble, Scuttlebutt, and Talk.
I like the fact that you actually had to look at the name of our podcast. You looked down.
It's episode 2,
It's
man.
Madison.
I'm going to get my notes out.
Yeah, there we go.
Ed Koppel over here, or whatever that news guy is. So yeah, welcome again, guys. This is episode 2. We're doing it. We're going for it.
We haven't given up yet.
No.
It's still early though.
We haven't been beaten down.
Physically, we haven't given up. Mentally, we're destroyed.
Yeah, we checked out midweek, but again, welcome to all our fans and friends out there on Facebook.
All
or
of our
YouTube.
fan.
All of our fan. Hey,
All of our
hey,
fan.
Bob.
Thank you, Rob Boswell. And
Basically,
James Lewis, thank you for tuning in today.
Thank you, James.
That one guy that comes in.
Those fan of ours that just do so much for us. The fan.
Well, today here on episode 2, we're going to be talking about a number of different things in recent pop culture news. Coming up this weekend is the holiest of high holidays, Batman Day. So We're going to be discussing some things about the Caped Crusader, and we got some activities planned for that day.
That's right.
We'll get into that. We got some Apple news. They had a recent keynote, and we have some opinions about that.
I've got some opinions for you.
Deep breath.
We're going into a little bit of con news. We got some potential news with that, and we're going to talk about movie remakes. That's been in the news lately. Do we love them? Do we hate them? And love and hate them.
And when he says lately, like the past 30 years. The remakes. Those stupid remakes that they started like 8 months ago. No, wait, no, that was 40 years ago. Yeah, that's what happened. They too many remakes. We'll get into that.
Yeah,
Life's catching up with you, Sean. You're getting old.
I'm getting old.
I'm not old.
We'll get to it.
Get up
But
my
of course,
lawn.
as you can see, we're finally on proper video. Hopefully you're watching us and you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you're watching this right now. But, let me introduce all these lovely men that are around me right now.
Don't assume my gender.
Do not put me on that high of a
So we kind of got this sexy sandwich going on. Got my top bun over here, Deshaun Kelly. What's going on, man?
Of course, I'm a top. Things have been going really well. I can't complain. It's another day in paradise, Phil. Thank you for having me on again as being your lovely top bun and
Thank you, my top bun.
awesome co-host.
Well, it kind of fits, so.
Yeah,
it's
of
all
course,
good.
yeah.
Then I got my bottom bun, Joshua Shipman. What's going on, buddy?
I get all the grease.
Never any
Skirts.
condiments right on you either.
Yeah.
You're great with the bottom bun. You're dry, except for the grease from the burger.
You a dry bun.
I'm doing great. We can just.
And of course, I'm the meat in between this sexy man sandwich. I'm Phil Manning. And then the toothpick holding that sandwich all together.
Ooh.
The owner and proprietor of Madison Buy-Sell Trade, Sean Coghill.
Oh, whoa.
It's Sean Cockhill.
That's right.
No, it's I'm the only one that clapped.
Yeah,
No, I did too. I did go
hey,
for
that's
clap.
extra points for you.
Are you serious?
F,
You're getting F
for
right
you.
now?
F for you.
You're
right
seeing
now.
this, folks, live in color. I'm getting
F-ing it.
another F. I'm effing it up.
You got an F.
So kind of getting to, the whole reason we're doing this podcast is to shamelessly shill the store, which can be found downtown Madison, 303 West Main Street. Let's go ahead and get into some events we have coming up. Of course, we had a recent unboxing this past Tuesday, which that's always on our Facebook page. You can check that out.
We're trying to do those as often as possible. We're trying to do it a weekly.
Right. Because that's when we get our awesome comics and action figures and such in. But we have some cool events coming up. We kind of touched on it. Batman Day. What are we doing for Batman Day?
Oh, Batman Day. So first off, every person that comes in during the Batman Day is going to basically be, if you dress up as Batman, you come in here, you win $1 million. Wait, that's not right. That's not right at all.
I'll be there.
How generous.
We're going to take part in Batman Day. What you can do is you can come in and you can get some free comic books, and you have a sale that's going to be based around toys and comics. That's what we're going to do. You're not going to get anything too big, but it's actually a really fun event, and you're going to get some free Batman comic books, and you'll get some sales, and you can, if you're watching the video, you can see some of our lovely Batman memorabilia.
We have the 2 comics that are also as well that we'll be giving out at the event and at the store that
and
day.
So yeah, you can come in for that. There'll be a good sale going on, and hopefully, you never know, you might run into some lunatics that are dressed up. The big thing is we're having Batman Day. That's going to be from 11 to around 6 o'clock on Saturday. This coming Saturday. What day is this Saturday? 21st?
21st.
You are correct.
21st. Because I don't know when you're actually listening to this or watching this. This may actually come out after Batman Day. So if that's the case, you just show up in the past, and then you'll be fine. But later in the day, the Mayor's Movies in the Park is, I believe what it's called, downtown Madison in the park. They're going to be showing Lego Batman. So Lego Batman will be playing. One of our lovely people who work here will be out, maybe more. They'll be out there, and they're going to be giving away some Batman books, also part of the free Batman Day comic books. And you'll be able to get a free movie, and you'll get to be able to get free books. And you might even see some people in costume.
Maybe
a celebrity.
Lunatic was a strong word you said. I want you to say it like lunatic, I guess. Yeah,
okay, there you go. That's right. I think I chose my words very deliberately.
So is anybody from the shop dressing up for sure?
Well, that's not confirmed yet. That's not confirmed yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but it's a possibility, and there might be other weirdos showed up and just dressed up as
weirdos. Another really strong word. I mean,
crazy people. Let me just go straight to the point. Insane people who have not a lot going on with their lives.
Ooh.
Oh wait, what? Just joking. If you dress up, we love you. Not really. We're going to be doing all those things. We'll be taking part in that. Ultimately, it's a fun event. This is not a big deal. It's not one of those things you got to worry about and come in. Oh, I got to be here early. I got to show up and get something. I got to be waiting in line. You show up. We'll have books available probably throughout most of the day. Buy some stuff from us. Get some free books. It'll be fun. And if you come dressed up as Batman, all the more power. We'll probably want to take some pictures of you. Any of the characters, Batman, Catwoman, Harley Quinn, Joker, whoever you're dressing up as, we want to take some pictures of you, put it on our Facebook, social media in general. And you never know, you might get something free out of that. I'm not going to say you will get something free because I don't want to put myself out like that. But if you show up dressed in full makeup and character,
you will get your picture taken.
A picture for sure.
Absolutely for sure. Absolutely for free.
But me, I might do something for you. I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a cool event.
You're a man of the people, Sean Coghill.
I've never been told that, and that's a dang dirty lie.
So we got that going on this weekend. Now the following weekend, of course, is Chautauqua.
I wonder who coined that brilliant name for
Lord Byron. But after Lord Byron first came up with it, but then I believe you copied him later, and you came up with it.
I wouldn't say copy. I would say plagiarize.
I might be
I think that's. I think that's.
We might love or hate that remake. We'll talk about that a little later.
Yeah, Chautauqua, which is, let's be real, it's Madison's Chautauqua, which already sounds ludicrous. Chautauqua doesn't exactly sound
Quotation,
like... Yeah, Chautauqua. Chautauqua, if you're at all understanding of Madison, it's an art event where people come and shill their handmade items. No, it's actually a great event. There's some neat stuff that comes out. But during our Chautauqua, we're going to have a hot dog vendor back out. He's world renowned.
Tell me it's Mad Dog.
It's Mad Dog.
I heard this, and he posted this actually on his Facebook that
Yeah.
he has the biggest wiener in town.
He does. It's huge and it is delicious. And you love them. Like, you keep going for them. You do.
Of course, I love big
I've eaten
wieners.
several.
Never seen it.
Well, Josh, we'll have to change that.
No, they are delicious, and they have the normal size. They got this. What do they call it? King Dong or something like that.
What are you talking? No, it's called the Big Dog.
Oh, I thought it was King Dong.
No,
Any hope
the
of being
Big Dog.
monetized on YouTube has now just gone down the drain.
What? No, King Dog?
No, it's a Big Dog.
I really didn't know. I was completely being
He
serious.
also
I thought
calls
it was a King
hashtag
Dog.
the home wrecker. Is what
Home
he
wrecker.
said.
No, I've seen that.
The home wrecker.
I want to just rename it King Dog.
King Dog.
Yeah, it's a King Dog. It's the top dog.
It's the king of hot dogs.
Let's just be real. They're delicious. He has some great specialty hot dogs.
He's actually debuting one this week as well.
He's debuting one
I'm not
this week? Not during Chautauqua, but he's doing...
I think it's going to be this week, actually.
Okay.
And it's going to be maybe Chautauqua, hopefully. I'm not going to say what it is.
We
Why don't
can't
you
get
check out
into
their
what... We can't force them into doing what we want. Although, if you're listening, do what we want. Do what we want. Do what we want. Alan, do what we want. That's for the owner. That's no one
Let
else.
me in.
But they have great hot dogs. They got great smashed lemonade.
Oh, dude.
Fantastic.
It's deliriously just
I'm
amazing.
oblivious to
Josh
it.
has not been here for when he's
My man.
when they've showed up and had the
Haven't had
the
the Duke
stand.
dog. I need
But
it.
he is going to be they are going to be set up outside during Chautauqua,
Chautauqua.
and that's going to be it's the last weekend of the month, right?
Yeah.
So it's a Saturday. I think they're going to be set up maybe Saturday and Sunday. I'm not 100%, but they're going to be set up Saturday. It's going to be great. If you haven't had a Mad Dog hot dog, literally come down, take part, get a lemonade. They're amazing as well. I don't know why I shamelessly plug him all the time, but they have good stuff and they're good people.
Yeah.
But he's also not the only going to be the person that's going to be there, though. There's also going to be a couple other art vendors in front of our store. We're going to have live music. Yes. Believe it or not, Chautauqua is going to be slam-packed to the brim full of...
Deshaun, you are almost correct. We are going to have possibilities of some art vendors. There might be some set up outside. We don't know if they're for sure going to show up for sure, but we're hoping they're going to show up. A possible textile and a possible artist working in paints. But we also, Deshaun,
You may take over?
Talk about who else is showing up.
Mr. Elijah Pauls, who is our, I would say world renowned, he's Madison renowned singer-songwriter who's actually got signed by a big company. I'm not going to say who because I don't want to get sued. And he's actually doing a music video in Miami currently, or he just did last week. So he'll be back performing some of his lovely jingles in front of our store that day.
He's an interesting guy. He's one of those guys you look at and you think, this guy's not going to be able to sing the way I want to hear this guy sing. And then you hear him, and he's actually a very talented guy, plays guitar.
Fantastic.
He had a little bit of a following set up outside during the last time he played. And if you haven't heard him, definitely come down and get a hot dog, Mad Dogs. Come in, take part in our Chautauqua. We will be having a special. I'll just tell you right now, there's going to be a little special during the Chautauqua on that Saturday. Get the hot dog, get the Mad Dog hot dog, get Elijah Paul's music in your ears. Come in and take part in our little special, and also go next door and get some delicious froyo / ice cream.
Yeah,
From
friends at the Red Pepper.
Red Peppermint.
Yeah.
Remember, we like the red people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're good folk.
yeah.
John Heights, I love you.
That's way too direct for me. I like them with extreme prejudice. So that's what I've been saying. So that's what I like. But that's some stuff coming up.
Awesome. That sounds great, man. You know, you can all these events and all the wackiness we get up to. You can always follow that on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Instagram, Madison_B_S_T. We are on YouTube now, so look for our channel. Please subscribe. Check us out. This video will be up there. And yeah, we're working on the iTunes and Patreon and whatnot. So, stay tuned for that.
Awesome.
So yeah, at this point, speaking of shamelessly shilling, if we had a sponsor ad,
Yeah.
this is where we would, discuss that business.
We love businesses.
Yes.
We love local businesses. We love big businesses. We love small businesses. I shamelessly plug people who don't ask for it at all. Just because if I like the business, I
right.
want to get other people involved. If you listen to this and you want to be part of it, just get in touch with us on Facebook, call us, whatever. Passenger pigeon, I don't know. Figure it out.
Lunchables.
Smoke signals.
Who makes Lunchables? I'm calling them out.
You want the Lunchable people.
I want Lunchable people.
So
You
not
want-
Oscar Mayer?
Yeah, I love the fact that Josh is aiming very high.
Oh yeah.
Lunchable people. Give me the Lunchable people.
But if you send us any nacho ones,
So you don't want like monetary
Those are the
support.
best. I'm
You
not
just,
gonna
you
get
just
into
want Lunchables.
Just Lunchables. Just Lunchables. Not even the adult Lunchables. You want the childlike Lunchables.
Yes, please.
Like processed ham.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Remember the pizza? Do they still make the pizza one where it's
yes,
like?
sir. Yes, sir. But of course, we have to agree that ham, cheese, and a cracker is the best.
It's the best of all
That's
time.
classic.
What'd you call me?
If there's anyone who's interested in any of us shamelessly plugging you, feel free to get in touch with us. We will be happy to have someone on as for us to do an ad for. There you go.
Well, gentlemen, let's get into our topics at hand. First off, we had the recent Apple keynote. This took place last week. Yeah, I know. We'll get into it. We're going to get into it. But the two major things that came out of that was the iPhone 11 billion Max or whatever un-Apple sounding thing they came out with for the iPhone. And also Apple, their new streaming service. So Apple's kind of getting into the streaming game. I think they've been planning this for a couple of years now. In fact, according to a source here at cnet.com, about 2 years ago, 2017, Apple said it was spending a whopping $1 billion on original programming for this new streaming service.
Did they put their little finger up to their mouth as they said 1 billion? I just want to know if they actually. I would respect them so much more if they actually did that.
Oh, and the name of the new streaming service? Such an awesome name.
Laughably.
Such an original name. Apple TV Plus.
/Netflix.
/ Disney Plus. But no, yeah. So I guess the whole deal with that is it's going to be launching in November. They're going to have 9 to 10 original Apple-produced shows, and it's going to start out at $5 a month.
That's the only thing about any of this that sounds like they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You got to start a race somewhere. I foresee, this is just all, I know how it's going to go. They're going to, $5 a month. 6 months later, they're going to be like, well, we're only raising it $1.
Of course.
Right.
That's what
$6 a
Netflix
month.
did.
Yeah.
And then they're eventually just going to walk us up, and then let's...
But we here's the thing. I talked to Phil actually earlier today about this situation, and a lot of people, the reason why the apps are popular and the reason why these streaming services are popular are because they really kind of came from the ideal that people wanted to be cord cutters. They wanted to get away from cable television. They say, you know what, we're paying too much for cable TV. We're not getting our bang for the buck. We don't like the way they are doing business. We want to cord cut. We want to stop paying these companies. The problem is that what has arisen from this? It's a bevy, just a ridiculous amount of companies who want you to follow them on their streaming service, which costs money.
Let's be real. So since we cut the cable, personally,
This is you,
speaking,
okay.
This is me. I now have Netflix.
1,
I now have Hulu.
2,
I now have Amazon Prime
3.
with 3 add-ons.
Wow.
And now I'm gonna get the Apple.
Are you going to do the Disney?
Absolutely, I'm gonna do the.
So,
Disney. So I'm gonna
how
go
much
to,
money are we putting out
I'm
here?
back to original satellite
Exactly.
price.
Or
Yeah,
more,
right.
right? Or more, possibly.
It's more,
Not
actually.
necessarily, but
Well, here's what I said to Phil
Internet.
in relation to myself. So, I didn't really care that much about the cable thing. It's like, I was willing to keep paying whatever I was paying. I didn't have the unlimited channels. I didn't do that. I had what I wanted to see, maybe with HBO, I think.
I do get a horse racing and pig Latin channel.
Hey.
Ooh, a Pig Latin channel.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I basically thought, I don't care. I'm happy to keep cable. My wife was like, you know what? Let's just do away with it. We only watched a few shows. So we cut. But to cut, we then said, well, we need better internet if we're going to start streaming. So we went from paying X amount for our streaming or for our internet to internet service provider that was able to take care of the streaming that we needed to get HD.
Right.
So immediately, before we even have bought any streaming channels or paying for this, we've added an extra about $30 a month for our updated internet.
Mm-hmm.
That was immediate. And then from there, like you said about all these channels, we've added a number of these channels. HBO,
Right.
I think that was one that we definitely was immediate on.
Had to have.
Netflix, Hulu. I have stayed away from Amazon just because I truly hate them as a company. And I don't mind saying it. Walmart is all of a sudden like
Little
not
red
that
dots
bad.
start appearing.
Not that bad compared to Amazon and their tactics. But I will say this: Amazon seems like it might be a company I actually eventually take part in. They got some stuff coming up, but the money, it just seems like
It's
just keeps
you're
going.
not saving any money.
no.
Not really.
I think what gets it is the convenience of it is my big thing. Is because now I can download stuff on Netflix to go. So if I'm in a spot that doesn't have any signal or
On a plane or,
exactly,
or
there's
traveling.
tons. I see it more for paying for a convenience, and mostly because I'm too lazy to cancel subscriptions. I have so many.
I just don't like hitting that cancel button.
It's just
Well, let me ask you guys this: does original content matter?
yeah.
Because
Yes.
I asked that because we have Netflix and Hulu, which they've recently been doing original content, but used to they were just showing already made movies and TV shows, and they still do that.
Which is still big money for them,
Right.
actually.
Oh, yeah.
Seinfeld, I believe, I just read something. The numbers I can't say factually, but I felt like I just read something that Hulu just bought the ability to maybe it was Netflix. It was one of the companies, one of those two. Whoever has it now, the other one got it.
You're right.
And they paid something like $500 million or something to be able to get the rights to Seinfeld, which is personally my favorite show of all time. Now, I don't need to watch it on streaming. I have all the DVDs for it.
You're
Hard
right.
copy.
But the ideal of them, that they're taking a show that's 30 years old, and they're willing to spend $500 million to be able to show people. They're still vintage shows. Older shows still mean so much, but yes, it's important to have new content.
Well, and speaking of that, like I said, upon release, Apple TV Plus, it's going to have 9 original Apple-produced shows ready to go. Do you think? I mean, it seems like Apple is just going to go. I don't know if they're going to buy. I mean, I imagine they will buy up already produced things.
Sure, kind of snipe them from
Right.
like either like a Hulu original, like, hey, we know you're kind of in works with this, but how about we show you out a little bit more money? How about you come to Apple?
But again, according to CNET, they have Apple has announced orders on over a dozen shows and multi-year developments on their original content. So probably going into next year, they're probably going to have about 20, maybe 30 original shows produced by them.
Do we trust Apple to put out shows that anyone actually will want to watch, other than the people who work at Apple, who think that, of course, that everything they do is amazing?
If they do anything like they do their phones, right, they're literally just going to take out a main character of a show we've already seen and then call it innovative, right? So they're just going to drop a main character, maybe slap a shiny color on it, and then call it new.
There were 2 examples of some of the original shows I wanted to kind of get into, and Josh, I think you brought up a really good point.
Ciao.
One of their shows is called The Morning Show.
Oh,
And it's got Jennifer Aniston, and I believe, it looks like Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell.
I've read
It's
about that.
their own talk show, correct?
Well, no, it's kind of like 30 Rock. It's like their version of 30 Rock.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Oh,
following
okay.
that kind of formula.
That's what I
but
thought,
it's,
too.
But it's following like the crew of a morning show.
And it's great talent. There's some good names there.
Steve, I'll
Steve Carell,
watch
come
it.
on.
Like, of course, I'm gonna get this, and I'll probably watch it just for him.
Yeah.
But apparently, their marketing's working on me already. So.
Do you trust, though, that Apple is going to allow the creators to do what they want within the constraints they want
No.
and not be interfering with them? That's what my biggest issue with Apple is I feel like that they are controlling, and they've been, I feel like they're going to treat the shows and their service kind of like how they've treated customers in regards to their electronics. We say the way it is, and you do it or you don't deal with us.
Who cares? You'll buy.
You'll buy it or you won't. We don't care, but it's going to be this way. We don't want to deal with you. This is the way we do it. That's why we don't care if anything works with our iOS system. It's just you're going to deal with it, or you're just not going to have our product.
Right.
Are they going to treat the talent, the writers, the directors, the actors, and of course then us as viewing, as someone who matters? Will they say, "Hey, we get that you want to see this," or are they going to try to influence and push their agendas and their feelings into these products? That's what I wondered.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
Now, just to kind of comment on that, when Steve Jobs,
Right.
Oh man, when Steve Jobs was around,
Pour out a little bit of that 40.
I know, right? I miss those days. But when Steve Jobs was around, he would. It seemed like he had a really good sense of when to push a new technology into the market. Because Apple would push something, no one else had it, but then a couple months later, everyone caught up, and then everything was universal again.
Yeah.
And then Apple kind of came out as, oh well, we innovated this because they did. But now it seems like now you need a dongle for everything.
Yeah.
Even Apple stuff.
Apple stuff
that was
doesn't
made
work
in the
with
same
Apple stuff.
era.
Yeah.
You need a dongle to attach it to your MacBook.
As you're sitting over a dongle.
Yeah, so I'm
As
sitting
he's
over a
actually
dongle
using
right
one.
now. That's why we're able to record this.
I think you are exactly right. I've never been a Steve Jobs fan. I've never been an Apple fan in general, but I think he was a smart guy who realized how to push things at the right time in its life to get people to take it on. Apple now, after he's died, is basically, we are saying this is how it is. You're dealing with it, or basically get lost. And in reality, I think some of the choices they've made shows how little they actually have in connection to actual buyers.
Oh, sure.
They don't have a grasp. They don't have their finger on the pulse. They do things because they say, the people who they've hired, the people who work for them, the people who went to college to make these things and sit around in rooms that say, you know what? This is what people need. This is what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't think about the vast, not just minority, the vast majority of people in the world when they put their products out anymore. I think Steve Jobs really did try to think globally in the sense of this is something that can be viable and usable for a broad spectrum of people. It's useful. The iOS operating system in itself, how the ease of access shows that someone was thinking about people on the whole.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ever since basically the iPhone 7 forward,
essentially,
they basically have said, we tell you what to do. If you don't listen to us, then don't buy our product. We don't care.
But Sean, emojis.
We talked about that. The iPhone, and you guys can look back, and you probably find some of the commercials on YouTube or other places. If you look at one of the commercials for the iPhone X, I knew immediately I would never buy that product, and I immediately said I will have nothing to do with Apple probably from this time on. One of the commercials was based around the ideal of not anything that's usable, nothing that actually helps progress people's ease of access. No, they built a whole commercial about bloody emojis that you can now use on the iPhone X. Specialty emojis. If you are buying a product based on the emojis, you are an imbecile. You are the lowest form of humanity.
So
Stupid.
a little piece to chime in on this. I kind of have my finger on the pulse when it comes to
Yeah, right.
cell phones. So I actually got to hold and play on an iPhone 11 today.
Oh well, which model was it? The Mega X
All three.
3 million or
So,
the?
so there was the Super 2.0 twice removed. No, I actually was hands on today. So I mean, it felt just like an iPhone 7 did out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like they slapped a picture of a coilless stove on the back of it, and that's their camera system now.
Right.
It looks trash.
Yeah.
But not only that, I see all these kids come in, and this is where a lot of it is. They know how to market to the youth, and that's kind of where it's rolling into. I have these teenagers coming in that I ask them the questions, just qualifying questions. Hey, what do you use your phone for? Just trying to get to know them. What do you use your phone for?
Bullying people in school.
Call my sister fat. But I ask them all these questions, and there's a phone that fits their needs 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
But they go, but are my text messages gonna be blue?
Right.
Is it gonna be a blue bubble? And it's
And these are like real thoughts. And
these are
kids' heads.
real thoughts, and then parents are just like, oh, I don't care, and they're just
And they're on their own phone.
They're on their own phone,
Yeah.
and they're like, well, can I FaceTime? Well, no, you can one up. You can do one much better, and this is
Yeah.
it. This is all the features, and they just don't care because it doesn't have an Apple on the back.
Right.
So it's almost to the point where it's like, oh, I have to have these special AirPods
No.
because they make me look bougie.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Bougie. Bad and bougie.
It's a bizarre form of elitism that goes back years. Of course, this is not new. It's just the new product to use to feel like you're elite over other people.
But let's be honest. If you want an iPhone 11, Josh Shipman,
Oh my gosh.
North Vernon,
Shameless plug.
TCC, come see me. Come see me. I'll hook you up if we are
Wow.
talking to you.
If you think that your life is going to be better based around that
Just
iPhone
come see
11,
me.
you just go see Josh. He will make
Absolutely.
your life better. If you think it's not, still go see him. He'll find you another phone that fits you much better.
Which, to kind of get to Sean's point about the whole elitism thing, I mean, Apple, even with Jobs, sort of had this kind of elite feel to it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like trendy elite. It was more like if you're in a certain field, Apple products are for you. Just speaking from someone who uses almost exclusively Apple stuff for work and for play. Yeah, it's definitely very intuitive for if you're in the creative fields, like if you're a designer or web developer or a music producer, something of that nature.
It's the simplicity.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what it- So one thing that Apple does very well, and Samsung and everyone else, Android is catching up, is just how simplistic Apple is.
Mhm.
I can tie my iMessage together with my MacBook and send a text while also doing something on my iPad and receiving on my watch. They do simplicity and twining very well.
Mhm.
But
Intuitive and simplistic.
exactly. And yeah, they make a slick, like the MacBooks are a well-built product, but it's just for people that want simplicity,
Mhm.
and that's what they sell on.
Yeah.
But other phones can be as simplistic as or as complex as you want them to be.
It's the thing for me that why I still use an iPhone. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm not saying I don't use Apple products. That's what got me is straightforwardness.
Right.
And that's why I don't and have never liked Android. I've had Android systems. I don't like them. And there's, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Either you're built around it and you say, you know what, I'm going with the cult of iPhone. I'm going with the cult of Apple. I get it. I love it. Or you go, I'm really against it. I fall somewhere in the middle because I hate Apple as a company, but I do like their operating systems.
Try Google Pixel.
My friend has a Google Pixel. He said the same thing to me. I had one come in. I dealt with it for a few days. I felt like it was somewhere in between an Android and an iPhone. But to me, it was still a little too much bloaty. It was just a little too... Android is kind of made for people who do way too much on their phones. And I am not one of those people. iPhone works for me that way because I actually, personally, I'm one of those people who rail against electronics in a way. I don't spend time on my phone. I try not to be on my phone. I don't watch videos on my phone. I don't do hardly anything on my phone except for look at emails, take calls and texts, and that's about it. And I try to stay away from tablets and phones. iPhone's good for that. It's pretty straightforward. But I also truly despise Apple as a company because of how they treat consumers. So
I'm actually the only one here that doesn't use Apple.
You don't, do you?
I do not.
You've tried them before.
I tried them. I took classes. I'm classified as an Apple master. I took classes, and they gave me a free iPhone X, and I prefer to spend $1,000 on an Android versus use Apple.
But there's what Androids are $1,000. I mean, that's the great thing about Android is they don't act as if they're a $1,000 phone.
They have some that are up there.
Expensive, but not like
just the equivalent of an iPhone X, or now it's XS, or the
XR.
the 11 Pro. The 11s, oh my goodness, those are $800 phones, but you can get a phone that does twice as much.
It sounds
for
like
the
Max body spray.
So
It's
it's
body spray of phones.
11 Max.
I'm just gonna tell Apple right now that you can see me. I have your XR phone, and I love it. So please
we
sponsor
know,
me.
Mr. Cook, you're watching. But just to kind of get back to Apple, I hate saying the word Apple TV Plus.
I hate the name. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty bad. But I just want to touch on this next show because it's a Khal Drogo vehicle.
Khal Drogo.
Jason
The
Momoa.
Stallion.
It's just called C, S-E-E, as into C. And so the
guy's blind, isn't he? Just go ahead and say it.
Yeah,
Apple
it's
Plus.
the brief
guy's
description.
this
blind.
is what I'm talking about. Remember Netflix had Bird Box. What was it? The Bird?
No, you're right.
It was Bird Box,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Couldn't see. See, they're
Well,
taking their own spin on it, making an innovative.
The quick little synopsis they have here. Apple has ordered C, a sci-fi drama set in a future where humans are born blind.
Oh my! I really didn't even know that. I just said that. I didn't even know it was based around.
It's a
Oh my
post-APOC
goodness
series.
gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no clue it actually was based around.
And
being blind.
actually,
I was joking.
Apple was really pushing this. They have a trailer for it, and Apple was really pushing this one. They even had Momoa come out on stage during their keynote to introduce it. So they were pushing this one pretty hard.
I don't know. I don't know what they'll do. I know we've all probably already heard a little bit about Apple dealing with J.J. Abrams. I think that says a lot about Apple. J.J. Abrams he's not a guy that I'm like, oh, he's an amazing director. He's an amazing writer. I think he's solid. I think he's done some good stuff. He's done some stuff that I thought was like, it's not actually very good. But the fact that he chose to go to a different company at the end, he had this deal like apparently either almost good to go, I guess, with Apple, and chose to abandon Apple and go to a different company and take a drastic monetary loss. But he did so, from what I gather, based on the ideal that Apple says, we own you.
You're right.
You come work for me, you're working for us, you can't do outside projects.
You have to use our dongles.
That's right. You can only use our dongles. And he honestly, as someone who is creative and someone who understands how real creativity works, other companies have just as much creativity going on. And so what if they say, hey, JJ, we got this deal for you. And he looks at it and says, yes, I fit in this. Apple would say, no. No, we don't care about your creativity. We own you. And he didn't want to be owned by Apple TV Plus. And so he said, you know what? I'm going to go someplace that will let me be free range J.J. Abrams. and he did it.
No creative dongles.
That's right. Cage free. And I think that it says a lot about him, even though I'm not even a fan of his. It says that money wasn't the complete driving force. Let's be real, he's making a lot of money no matter what. But the way Apple, even with that, is approaching it is very much we say what goes, everyone else basically screw off. This is our world. You're just living in it. And that's why so many people hate Apple. And they would have such a better, I guess, not just following, but people would view them probably as a better company if they just weren't so ridiculous with some of these things. And also, Apple, just want to make sure you know, because we know you're listening, Apple TV Plus, how much money did you spend to get some egghead to come up with the title of Apple TV Plus? It sounds like you're selling to a guy in the middle America who's never graduated school and doesn't really understand what the word plus even means. What's the regular Apple TV? You're adding a plus, and all of it sounds like you're really doing a lot for us.
That's what happens when John Ivers leaves.
Oh, you lose some people who actually have a little bit better grasp, and then you end up with Apple TV Plus. Yeah. I mean, they could have called it the Pair. For all,
yeah, right.
The Pair. Apple. The Pair.
iCarly reference.
Oh,
maybe y'all know
yeah.
that.
That's real?
It's not Apple on a TV show.
I just made that up
It's a
myself.
child.
No, it's a Pair.
It's a child.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like a preteens show, and their version of Apple is Pear, and all
Really?
their phones are pear-shaped.
I again had
They're
no
pears.
clue.
It's awesome.
I'm just
Deep
making stuff
cut,
up.
Sean.
Dude,
Deep cut.
don't judge me, please, for the love of
You
God.
knew way much more about
did-
iCarly than. Did you know iCarly?
I didn't know that. When he said the Pair, I
heard
was
of the
like,
show.
but also Grand Theft Auto did the same thing. It's called the Crab Apple, or they call it something
Yeah.
else. It's another
Okay.
thing similar to Apple
Which
because it
makes
can
sense.
use. Yeah.
I'd said earlier to Phil though. I mean, if they could have called it pretty much anything, it would have been. It
a
could have sounded
Pair.
cool. Just call it the Apple.
Yeah.
Make yourself stand out. Like your service isn't. It doesn't need to be, sold like you're trying to.
Apple Mega Plus 20.
Right. It sounds like you're trying too hard, and it sounds like you really had no clue what to call it.
So this test, I do use one Apple product.
What do you use?
Oh god, here it
Oh,
comes.
I know.
My wife really likes her Apple TV.
Ah,
The
yeah.
box itself
yeah,
is like
right.
a streaming box.
Yeah.
That's about it. But I can't get my wife to switch off of that since she's an Apple user. So I think I might just have to find a new one of those.
Yeah.
What a new wife?
Wife's, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sure she'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
All right, so enough Apple bashing.
Now, are we sure?
No, we
I know they deserve it.
We done took a bite out of that apple.
Hey now.
And plus, why? I don't even like the fact they're named Apple. I just want to make a point of this. Apple, that's the Beatles. The Beatles own that. I don't want nothing to do with Apple in the first place unless the Beatles were the ones. I just feel like they've already stole. Their whole name's based on something they stole. I don't know. Just don't like Apple.
Can you get off your soapbox, please? Soapbox.
I'm never stepping off.
Step down.
Step
All right.
down. Thank you.
So some real quick news on some regional cons coming up. Now, Mark's not with us today. You met Mark in the first episode. He's our comic aficionado. He's our con man. He loves going to cons. Let's see what we have coming up. We have Galaxy Con, right?
Yeah, GalaxyCon, which is next month.
Next month.
Yes.
And there's something else coming up.
There's a Cincinnati Con, which Mark, you will actually be going already. He'll be this
Nice.
weekend. It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's going Friday to meet the guy that played Bosk from Star Wars. And he's actually meeting a couple other really cool
Oh, nice.
celebrities to get some autographs and stuff like that.
I just want to make a point real quick. If you're listening and you actually care about the show at all, and if this takes off and enough people will watch, Mark and Deshaun want to go
Yes.
to these cons. We want to send them to the cons. You can help us send them to these cons, and we want them to meet these various comic or movie or TV, whatever related characters, and we want them to be able to interview them. Now, for that to happen, we need a lot more, views,
High criteria.
a lot more
Yeah.
subscribers. But I don't mind grassroots in it. We slow build up.
Right.
But no matter what, if you're listening, and later on when we come with the Patreon and all that, we want to be able to send them off for you guys to get some
Press
funny
passes.
interviews, be able to meet some people. We'll have
Right,
video of it.
right.
That's just a little something because I think that'll be a fun thing if they actually are able to do it.
So to get in, we want to try and be considered as press, but to get a press pass, we
need a lot.
we need to have a bigger audience.
Yeah.
So please subscribe.
Which the good thing is though, Mark actually will be there at GalaxyCon as a volunteer. So he'll be there a couple hours before, dealing with some of the things, doing whatever job he needs to do. So we're still trying to possibly, maybe, kind of, sort of, get an interview. And some of the people they're going to have there is they're going to have Mr. Dave Drax Batista going to be there. They're going to
Hulk
have
Hogan. Go on.
Hulk Hogan, Dwayne Batista Johnson.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brother.
And John Cusack's going to be there. They're going to have they're going to have a couple other major celebrities as well. And we're going to try to interview them and see how that goes. And if not, maybe next time.
Are you actually going?
I'm going, yes.
Okay, with John Cusack from a distance, I'm just saying this. So if you're listening to this, not John Cusack, but if people are listening to this, what I want you to do is bring a little boombox with you, and from about 60 feet away, just start blaring in front of him, hold over your head, and just see the response that he gives you. It'd probably be like very angry, but maybe not. He seems like a cool guy.
If he flips me off or they kick me out, I just want to let you know. Thanks for that.
It's a win.
Mix 2 of his movies and play Walking on Sunshine.
Over time.
and do the berry dance.
The berry dance. There you go.
From High Fidelity.
But we still, between all of us, we all go to at least some cons a year.
Other than me.
I
don't ever go.
I actually haven't been to one.
Never been one either. This will be
wow, between all of us, Josh goes to some cons a year.
So I've been
You've
been
been
the
to
last
several.
six years in a row. I go to at least a con a year. So
You've been our emissary.
yeah, I've been to Chicago C2E2 twice for the Diamond Retailer Summit.
That's for us at Madison Bicycle Trade.
Yep.
He has went in my stead.
And I will gladly keep taking that.
And
time.
we're happy to give it to you.
That
We would have
time.
sent you to Las Vegas
But
this
it was
time,
gonna
but
be
it's the whole
nothing.
deal.
It was nothing but that. So
Yeah.
so at least we'll have some sort of behind the scenes.
We might be able to get there.
We'll
yeah.
get something, at least some cons up on video somehow, somewhere. If it's me, Deshaun, if it's Mark, if it's Phil, or
I doubt me, but who knows?
Yeah, if it's the people we just mentioned.
Hey, I just want to make a point, though. Yeah. It's not a con, but I will be attending I think, Phil, are you going to this in October? Somewhere in Ohio?
Oh.
Are you going to the...
Are you going to...
I'm going.
Are you really?
I'm going. I'm not dressing up.
Oh,
no, I'm not dressing up. But I did say, I told Mark, a friend of ours, who's wanting us to go to this, what do we call it, Renaissance Fair?
Yeah.
I'm going too, actually.
You're not going to Renaissance Fair.
We talked about
I
it the other day.
go to a Renaissance Fair once a
Do
year.
you all dress up?
It's a Highland Festival, and my brother has an actual legit kilt.
Of course he does.
Yeah, so I go to at least a Renaissance Fair, and coming when it gets a little closer to Christmas, they're doing like the Christmas Carol, and they have actors and the whole thing.
Oh,
so,
right on.
Yeah, so I at least go to once where there's like legit jousting, sword
well,
fights.
that's what.
Yeah, that's
I wanna
what
throw
we're going
Ohio.
to. Yeah.
Now Phil went to this last. We're not hyping the con. I'm just moving it from the point that
Unfortunately, I forget the name
I don't
of the
remember
thing and the name of the town it's in, but it's in this little in the sticks
It's a
town,
burg.
but it has its own
like full-fledged.
park that is dedicated to this Renaissance
Is it
festival.
in Kentucky?
No,
It's
it's
in
in
Ohio.
Ohio.
Oh yeah, because there's one that's like 45 minutes away, like Highland Festival. They have their own like castle built. They have like everything there. So they just go and they have dedicated actors.
This thing is like 75 acres. It's essentially a medieval village. Jousting, turkey legs, the whole
I've been there.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Renaissance Fair is
if we
awesome.
go to that, we might just make some video of people dressed up and maybe do a few videos.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm gonna go. I promised my friend that I would go. He wanted me to dress up. They wanted me to dress up. I'm not doing that because I think that's ludicrous. But I did say, if I ever do, I'm going as a full-fledged dandy.
Powdered wig,
sure.
white face,
Yes.
rosy cheeks.
Yes.
The tiniest
Very
of
small
dagger.
Very small dagger.
A bag of like gold coins to throw at peasants.
I asked my wife to come. If I did that, I asked my wife if she would
Cookie
come
clock
as
shoes.
as basically whenever I go to sit down, she just like bends over and I sit on her back. She's basically like a peasant. I don't think she was gonna go for that, but if she does, me as a dandy, her as a peasant following me as my chair, I just thought would be fantastic. I don't know, but
I can
if,
just imagine just stone face.
I just want you to let you know.
Sean's make me do a thing again.
I would look in the mail to see when your divorce papers come in. 'Cause
Okay.
they're coming in pretty soon. All right.
I don't know. Casey, my wife, goes along with a lot of stuff that's bizarre. Some of the stuff I'm thinking she's not gonna have anything to do with. Then she's like, that's not so bad. So we might just. We do. We'll do some video if we do go. Okay, I don't know why I went off on that. It's just that's more video that we might actually showcase, and you can see a bunch of lunatics dressed up, including my friends, which I think are actually going in full regalia.
Phil the Knight, Deshaun the Jester,
Wait.
Josh the
I'm not going as I went as a knight last year. I'm changing it up a bit this year.
Oh, don't give us away. Don't give it away.
No.
Okay.
It's fine. Shh. On the hush hush.
People are waiting.
But
What's next on the docket?
yeah, so we're gonna get to remakes. Do we love them? Do we hate them?
Do we love to hate them?
Or do we not care? What do we think, guys? The reason I bring this up because in recent news, I'm sure there's been a billion remakes that are probably in the works, but two that kind of came up in the news in recent weeks is the classic John Travolta, Nicolas Cage vehicle, classic Oscar-worthy film, Face Off. There's talk that it's probably already in the works.
Oh, man.
They're already writing a script, I think. Don't quote me on that.
It's like my face, but not. Right? Something like that. Yeah.
Yes, totally. And also, recently, there's been an uproar, rightfully so, about this.
I think I know where you're going.
Princess Bride.
Yeah. Bizarre. Like, why of all movies? I'm not a fan of Princess Bride.
Mm-hmm.
You can
you
lambast
get
me
it.
all you want. I get it.
Yeah.
But the fact that they would want to recreate the Princess Bride is just sheer stupidity.
I mean, how are they going to do this? Everyone going to have, like, smartphones now? Because that's what they do. When they do a remake, it's just everyone has smartphones now.
or it's just going to be all women. It's going to be Princess Bride with all women. It's just going to we need to just get more women in here. That's what we were missing. Andre the Giant. Who's going to play Andre the Giant's character?
The Big Show.
The
We're
Big
going to do
Show.
a women. I think Rosie O'Donnell or like Amy Schumer.
Oh, Amy Schumer?
Yeah.
She's not. Now, Amy Schumer's not like Andre the Giant.
I mean, she'd work.
No, what they're going to do, they're going to do what they did in
Don't come at me,
Avengers
Amy.
Endgame. They're going to have Peter Dinklage, but they're going to do the Giant.
The Giant is going to up everybody's scale. Peter Dinklage in it, I would pay to actually see. Yeah. Now, if he played Wallace Shawn's character, Peter Dinklage as Wallace Shawn's character in Princess Bride, I actually would see it. Peter Dinklage is a fantastic actor. I would pretty much pay to see him in anything. So that would actually get on that, people.
Actually, that's not too bad.
Princess Bride, if you sell it just around Carrie Yules, whatever his name is, and all these other characters, if you just mail those in, phone those characters in, but you make sure you really get Wallace Shawn's character figured out, I would maybe see it.
As you wish.
So, let me go around the table. Is there a film you have in mind that maybe needs a remake?
Needs a remake.
Needs a remake.
I like that question though.
Dibs on last.
He's has to
You
think
go ahead
about
first.
it.
You go ahead
That
first.
needs a remake.
No, I
No.
had to think about crap.
But I will say this. I say that a lot. I realize. I just
I'll
want to
say
make.
this.
I have a
When
lot.
you say it, man.
I have a problem with making statements about my statements. I shall say this now, and you shall listen to me.
Okay,
I don't know why I
Apple,
say
chill.
that. I noticed that before that I say a lot of things. I preface everything. I will say this. I shall say this. I don't believe most movies should ever be remade. I don't believe in remakes per se at all. There are films that had a good idea that were just never made correctly, and I get why someone down the road would say that movie had promise and it was ill-advised. They just didn't do something right. But they don't do that. They take movies that were popular and try to make cash grabs.
Right.
And that's the problem. We're not remaking movies that had promise that weren't good. We're remaking movies that were good to begin with and making them worse.
Well, what I'm about to say is probably going to irritate you.
Like most things.
Most things. And this is just what I would love if they remade a certain movie. And the reason is because being an actor, I would want to be in that movie. Is One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh my
I would
God,
love if they made that movie.
Oh my God! What is wrong?
I know, and that
with
movie
you?
is awesome. It was
Then why
perfect.
would you want to destroy it?
But that's the thing. I don't want it to be destroyed. I want it just.
You think it's gonna be better then?
No.
Then why are we making it?
You just want to make money off of it.
I just.
Cash grab.
It's like yours.
Cash grab.
I feel like just it'd be awesome if they remade it. I wouldn't say it wouldn't be better than the first one by far.
Then why
But it wouldn't-
remake something?
But they could.
Ooh, things are getting hot, guys.
I think it's getting.
No, it's very real. If you're going to remake something, what's the point of remaking it unless you think that you can physically make something as good or better?
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do that, if you can't you can't top the original, you're just literally wasting your time.
Just make an original movie.
Just make an original
Uh-oh.
movie.
Sean's on top of the table.
Hey,
He's
I
got the
get-
Sean pinned down. If you want to see this action YouTube right now, holy crap, this is insane.
Donate to our Patreon.
Blood everywhere.
I'm going to say this one more time. I'm going to say this.
I'm gonna say this about what I said earlier about this.
There's a movie that came out a few years ago, and I like foreign films. I like movies from the past. There was a film that came out that was called Let the Right One In.
Mm-hmm.
It was redone for the American market a few years later. It's called Let Me In. Now, even within its own title, it's drastically changed the meaning and importance of the title. Let the right one in to let me in. This is the dumbing down of American cinema in general. The ideal that American audiences, is at least how they're viewed, they can't handle nuances. They can't handle any kind of real, art. We got to make it to where it is a palatable, easy to digest thing.
Right.
And so, was Let Me In awful? No. But was it needed? Absolutely not. Was it good? Not really. Was it better than the original? Not even close. So the point is, why was it made? There's so much. People always say we're out of ideas. We're not out of ideas. We're out of people willing to take a chance on ideas. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that lies not with filmmakers, not with the studios. It lies with you.
Looks at the camera.
It lies with us, the viewers.
Up your game.
If you constantly refuse to step outside the box and see something that takes a little bit of time, or something you might have to think about, and instead you're wanting to see, well, it's that new Ghostbusters movie. Oh, they got a new one out. Oh, they're redoing Back to the Future. Oh my God, that's so awesome. If this is what you're doing with your life, you've already made a mistake. Stop looking for what you've already seen. Keep watching those movies that you've already seen. Sure, if you love them, great. We don't need to redo stuff and then ruin it.
Right.
What movie has been redone that you can honestly say? Now, I'm asking this as a real question. If you've got an answer to this, and if you're listening,
well, I might have
that is better than the original.
You go first.
Right.
So I got a list of them.
Right, and I think this is more. It's not a remake as it is a reimagining.
Okay, well,
Lord of the Rings. You had Ralph Bakshi's acid-fueled, rotoscoped live action mixed with cartoon thing. And then you had Peter Jackson's masterpiece. But that's not really a remake.
Yeah, I don't count
I think
that.
a reimagining is okay. But yeah, I kind of agree with remakes.
What do you think, Josh?
Is there a remake that you think is?
I despise all remakes.
Well,
Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't even know the It series is about the only thing that I dilly-dally in that is a remake.
And which was a remake of a made-for-TV movie too.
Right,
so it's kind of like redoing something that was
almost
never
So that's
great
about
to
the
begin
only
with.
thing that I kind of touch in that's a remake. But I will never go see a remake. I will never buy another remake. If I see another live-action remake of a Disney film, I'm going to throw up.
Run away.
No
I do not. I don't want just the image of everything that was so pure in a Disney movie back then to just be exploited to have Will Smith as the freaking genie.
Oh my gosh.
I don't care about it. I don't want any of that. It doesn't make a lick of sense, but just quit going for the money. That we have too much talent that is out there that could make something for this generation, but yet we're trying to copy what was already done in a different generation, a different time. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird with the Disney
Right.
live action remakes. It's like Disney has been making original stuff. Just keep making original stuff and make $1 billion like you always do.
Yeah, they're not.
I don't.
They're not willing to let things go.
Yep.
And what I just want to ask is, how many more Hans Christian Andersen stories do we have? We got more. Why don't we go do a few of those that we haven't done already? I know there's got to be some more out there. Let's not have to redo every single Disney movie into a live action. And I think the reason why is because, again, it's the viewership. Are they making large amounts of money? Absolutely. They're still making great money. And so they're just like, let's just retread. And now they're doing, I believe the next one is Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tramp.
Just saw a
So
still
they're
from
actually
it the
gonna
other
follow
day.
around
A couple dogs.
a couple dogs. Are the dogs gonna die?
I don't know if they're going to. I think so. I really do. I think it's going to be that the dogs themselves are going to be able to.
Is it well?
to
But
talk.
how are they gonna, is it going to be like a look who's talking kind of thing?
Might be ended up like Underdog, the live action movie Underdog that had Peter Dinklage in it. That's the only thing I really knew
Yeah,
him from.
there you go.
Oh, geez.
So I end up like that. So no one here likes any remake whatsoever. Like,
Well,
I
there's
can't
a-
really think of one that I like.
I have a-
reimagining, yes, but
Yeah.
remakes, I don't think.
What do you
so.
think, Deshaun?
Cape Fear with Robert De Niro.
It's not as good as the original, and I'm a Scorsese fan. It's not as good as the original.
Scarface with Al Pacino. That was a remake of the 1932 movie.
Actually, it's not a true remake. It's a completely different character. It's a different setting. It's a different place. The storyline is completely different.
So
it's
that's
used the
almost
same
a
name.
reimagining.
It's a reimagining.
Yeah. There's a difference.
There's a huge difference between some of those takes, and I will give you this: that what you're saying, those kind of ideas, I do agree that they're a reimagining, a retelling of something that happened 80 years before. They're redoing it. Yeah, you can get away with that because there's lots that has happened in that 80 years, or 60 years, or 50 years, or even 40 years. But to take a film and say, you know what, it's already great. Let's be real. The first Scarface, I believe, was it Howard Hawks? Is that right? Okay.
1932.
That's correct, yeah.
It's not that this is a bad movie. It's that it wasn't already an amazing movie to begin with. So then you take that and you go, you know what? We're going to do a version. Use the same title.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
There's some similarities in between.
Yeah, there's some
But
similarities.
it's not vastly different, but it's...
There's a lot different, though. And so then, instead of doing a Back to the Future, which has been tossed around a lot, I keep using that. I hope they don't ever do it.
Oh, God, no, please.
They talk about Indiana Jones. They talk about a lot of these big properties. There's a huge difference between taking something that was okay, but it happened 80 years ago, and reimagining it, as opposed to something that happened 30 years ago and was already good. And just making it, not because they think they can do a better job or a retelling, it's just for a cash grab. Let's be real. This is monetary gain. This is the only reason. There's a lot of people like Back to the Future. Maybe we can tap into that group and just steal money from them. It seems like the shoes are selling really good. If we could figure out how to make a hoverboard, we would be on top of that. That's kind of the mentality. They just want to keep going towards things that people remember from their childhood and exploit it.
He has a Back to the Future hat right
I have one
Shameless plug.
right there.
I'll pick a Rick of all
Very
people.
nice.
I actually had one of the originals of these back when the movie came out. I bought it at Universal Studios Florida. I am a huge Back to the Future fan. I was a kid. The movie had just come out like that summer, and I found this, and I thought it was the most amazing thing, and I wore it, and mine was the original one, and I still got it someplace. But if you want one, here you go. You come get Back to the Future too.
Hey, nice.
Shameless shill.
Ugh, awful. But that's why this podcast exists.
Yeah, really. It's a
Love
giant
it.
commercial.
Sorry to cut you off.
No,
I was
you're
going to say,
fine.
Sean, I know there's one remake that you despise.
One remake I despise. There's probably many, but
Psycho.
and Gus Van Sant. The thing is, Gus Van Sant is a fine director. He's made some quality stuff. He's made some stuff that was his earlier stuff. I think is better. He's made some good films. The Psycho thing. This is something that is weird because I actually respect the reason why he made Psycho in 1998. Anne Hesh, Vince Vaughn. I respect it because when you love a movie to the point like Gus Van Sant does of Psycho, and like myself, I think both of our films we both have the same favorite film, which is Psycho. It's not that you're trying to make it better. It's that you love it so much, you just want to kind of like immerse yourself in it. You want to see yourself reshooting some of these scenes. He tried to do an almost shot-by-shot remake. It's not a shot-by-shot remake. When it first came out, it was billed as a shot-for-shot remake. It was not. But I understand his mentality. It was not for money. That movie probably lost money in reality.
Oh, I believe it did.
This was basically fan made. This is what he could have shot it on YouTube. Did it on YouTube. It just happened that it came out in 1998 instead of 2008. He did this because he was a fan of the movie, and I get why he did it. It was ill-advised and kind of pointless, but I actually respect that remake, not because it's good, but because I love the movie. I know why he did it. But I don't think that's usually the case with these remakes. These are big budget, Paramount, Universal, whoever's pushing these different. They're wanting them done because they're trying to make huge amounts of money.
Right.
Everyone knew going into Psycho remake. They're like, if we break even, probably this is pretty good. So I respect that one at least. I don't like it. I respect it because I respect his reasoning, but not the movie. It wasn't that good.
But speaking of reimaginings, it's time to move on to Batman Day.
Ooh, Batman Day.
Batman.
The Batman
has been reimagined through the decades since his creation. Has affected not just like comic culture, but has also affected pop culture in general. So what are our thoughts on Batman? What the effect he has had on pop culture? What do we think?
Batman, good or bad? Go around the table. Yes or no?
Oh, sorry, yeah, I had a Batman themed wedding. So
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So
Very
Phil.
cool.
yeah.
One of my first comic books that my dad bought me at Cook's in Hanover was
Superman.
it was Nightfall. It was Nightfall. Issue was it 89?
Oh, okay.
Where Bane breaks his back.
Is that like
Is that
500?
Is that with the crazy T-Rex
500
in the
when he
back?
returns.
493?
I think so.
Back
Or at least it's
500
in
when he
the
returns,
Yeah.
493.
Okay. It's something like that. It's like 493.
493,
something
something
like
like
And you know specifically, put it in the comments
But yeah,
below.
crazy.
Correct us.
that.
But yeah, Nightfall was like my first Batman comic.
Yeah. Big
Um,
storyline, big deal.
So yeah.
So you're saying yes on Batman.
Yeah, Batman's
Deshaun?
awesome.
I know your answer.
I mean, Sean, how did I meet you? When I first met you many moons ago, when I was probably 10 or 11, 12.
you were in my trash can. And
siphoning through everything.
Yeah.
I was buying Batman comics from you. Batman's my yes, he's my favorite superhero of all time. If I could be vigilante, I probably would if I was in a better shape. But
That sounds like you really got a good handle on your life. I'm going to say no. Batman's bad. Batman's a bad man. Not a bad
hey, Batman.
Bad man.
Play-
I can't hold that up. I haven't got the support. It's good. Batman's great.
Yeah, Batman's
it's
cool.
of course, one of the best storylines in comic history. Go on.
Right. So Batman has been around since when did Bob Kane create Batman? Was that
1939?
Yep.
39?
80-year anniversary this year. 80 years.
80 years.
80 years this
38
year.
Superman, 39 Batman.
With
Oh, that's
the
true, yeah.
80th anniversary pop.
Well, we
You got
actually
some
got
Bob?
we have a
Nice.
couple. We got Red Death, Damned.
If you're
93.
listening in, take a look at that.
The camera's over there.
No, if you're listening in.
Oh
man.
my God.
Yeah, I can just hear that box.
I know.
Now, what's funny about that Batman and Batman we've seen over the decades is, that Batman killed people.
1939 Batman came busting in through windows with guns and breaking people's necks.
Nope. He was there asleep on a farm
Ah.
making buttermilk.
Nice cut. Nice cut.
He has changed a lot. It changed, went back, changed.
Yeah, right.
Somewhere fall in the
Like
middle.
all these things do. Yeah.
Even in the comics, though, he did too.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's
Yeah.
followed a
Which,
very.
which I have to say,
loose.
one of my favorite portrayals of Batman has been the recent, Batfleck. I love that fight scene in Batman versus Superman.
It's his chin. Let's just be real.
He's got the bad chin.
He's got the chin.
He does have the bad chin.
I think that little cleft is going to separate and make little bat wings.
But
He's
no,
gonna
throughout
fly
that
away.
whole movie, I think Batman kills like 20 bad guys.
I actually rewatched
And
that movie this week.
like in the Batmobile chase, and then I think in the first time we see Batman in action, I think he takes out a dude, and then in that awesome warehouse fight scene, he kills at least 5 of those dudes.
But it also saves a 12-year-old girl in the beginning of the movie, so I feel like
Well, yeah.
Ah.
But, no, I'm saying I think it's fine.
Saving someone can only get you so far. It's like, I saved one girl, that means I get 25. Then I gotta
the whole thing about Batman is he's an illegal criminal vigilante. Like, yeah, it's kill a dude or two. Fine.
But that's relatively new in the recent continuity because it happened early on, and there was a large amount of time in between where Batman's main thing was, I don't kill people.
it's my good.
And he didn't.
It's my good.
Because let's be real, the whole setup of the Joker is based around the ideal of Batman not killing people.
Sure.
The Joker setup doesn't make any sense in the continuity if you have him killing people. Because otherwise,
true.
Joker would have been
Yeah.
killed immediately. But Joker's whole setup is knowing that Batman won't kill him. That's why the Joker is able to do what he does, which calls into a lot of ethical issues with Batman. Is it better just to go ahead and kill Joker and save all these other people?
Right.
There's a lot of questions there. But with the continuity that most people know, most people have been raised with a Batman who doesn't kill people.
Sure.
So now we've been reintroduced to a Batman who maybe sometimes kind of sort of will, maybe, if you let me.
I won't kill you. I just have to save you.
Basically. Whereas Superman, let's just be real, Superman has never been that. Superman has always been willing and able to kill if he needs to. That's a difference. Interesting.
Snapping General Zod's neck.
Yeah, and that's right. But he's always been much more free to that, whereas Batman's been a little bit more reserved.
Oh, just in like any regular fight Superman gets into, they're knocking over several buildings.
Yeah, you got to take some people out. You can't be letting people knock
But
over
I gotta
buildings.
fight this one bad guy.
Yeah, you got to go through some buildings.
That's one thing I did like about the Batman versus Superman movie was like in the beginning it's just him just decimating buildings and
Yeah.
actually all the negativity from Superman. It's just like when you really think about it, it's like my God, is he truly?
It was a really smart decision on Snyder's part.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a great setup, basically Man of Steel.
Man of Steel
And then-
setup, yeah.
And then carrying that over to S versus me.
So Ben Affleck's your favorite Batman,
Would you go so far as to say favorite, or you like?
or that's one of your?
I would say he's in the top 3.
Okay. That's still something. There's
Yeah.
been a lot of Batman. How many? Did we do the numbers, guys? How many Batman has there been in some incantation?
I got the number.
I knew one of you did.
Baby, hit us up.
I was about to say
7.
there's not a specific number, unfortunately, because there's been so many iterations, and there's been foreign films done. One of the first films that was a Batman film was actually an Italian Batman film. It was like a radio show type thing. There's been so many. No, that's not. It's, fact check me.
Back to me.
39 to 43, from voice actors, live adaptations, plays, everything. Radio shows, there's been 39 to 43.
Okay, so there's been 39 to 43.
Or even more.
Possibly. Well, yeah, I mean, you can't get too vague.
Specific,
I mean,
yeah.
We started talking, well, this guy on YouTube put on a Batman mask. Wasn't there a guy on YouTube that put on a Batman mask?
Bat
for like
Dad.
a skit?
Bat
Bat
Dad.
Dad. Okay. Is he one of them? Do we count him?
Yells at his kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact, he was actually in the Arkham game. Because he was so popular at the time, he actually got to be in the Batman Arkham Knight game in the beginning.
Okay, kids, remember that. If you copy and plagiarize something enough, they will eventually
They will
just
put
take
you
you on
in
and
one of
put
the
you in and give you money.
properties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
He's in
yeah.
the Arkham Knight game, but
That's amazing. So I think there's been a pretty solid amount of Batman.
oh gosh, so many.
So you're saying top 3 is Batfleck.
Yeah, Batfleck's up there for sure. I like Batman Begins. Batman.
Yeah.
Christian Bale,
Christian Bale.
one of my favorite
Dark
actors.
Knight. It was just the Joker stole that whole movie. But the voice, man, I can't get over the voice.
Yeah.
But like with Batfleck, they kind of did a really smart thing with the voice. They did that voice modulator thing that just gives them that extra scary echo or whatever, which was smart. I don't know why they made Christian Bale do.
I didn't mind Christian
You
Bale's
wanna get-
Batman.
I liked it actually.
I like Begins because it's just a dark whisper.
He's
like
scary.
a Batman. But then he.
Yeah, I've learned that if you're in a situation with a bad guy on the street, they are terrified of just deep, raspy voices. So that's really the thing you gotta go with.
So if you get sick and you get a lot of like sore throats, go fight crime.
Go fight crime.
You might
I
actually
just
save the
can't
day.
get Pete Holmes out of my head right now. Bats. Bats. That makes sense. No. Bats.
He's like, what?
Take a shower.
The college humor is
Okay, so Josh, top. Who's your top? Let's go with top. We all have a top 3. We know we got. Who's your top Batman?
Number 1.
Christian Bale. Okay.
Sean,
fair.
I'll let you go next.
I mean, Adam West really just was.
Rather Cesar Romero's Joker.
People. There are a group of people who think Adam West is the best Batman, but they're also living in a time frame where everything was so easy. Like
Batman was goofy.
the world was a cleaner, nicer place. No, Christian Bale's Batman he wins it for me just because the films are well made.
Oh sure. Yeah.
I mean, whether or not he's
Won't
the best,
argue
I don't know.
that, but the voice, I just.
You don't like that voice. Okay, Deshaun.
I love Christian Bale, so I gotta say he's probably my favorite Batman. But my favorite, to get specific, my favorite Bruce Wayne is Michael Keaton. He is legit. What would happen if someone's parents got killed and became a vigilante? This weird,
This guy
off the
gets
cuff,
weird.
like
Kinda weird
let's get
goofy
nuts,
rich,
you know, like that.
rich guy.
Yeah,
He's like
just an off kilter
a little
Batman.
standoffish.
Yeah, which
I just want to make a point though that we should start mixing actors' roles and blending too. So I take Birdman, Michael
Keaton Birdman,
and just mix that character together.
and also Vulture.
Bird
Throw
Batman.
Vulture, Birdman, and Batman.
That's right. And of course, with Christian Bale, I would do
Birdman.
American Psycho.
Patrick Bateman, American Psycho,
Yes.
mixed with his Bruce Wayne. I think those would be fantastic. And don't copy me if you're listening, people. Don't go out and like make your own comic or make a movie based on this because I don't know what I'll do. I can't do anything. But I think it'd be a great idea if you mix some of these characters together.
Which we kind of spoke of the Joker and Batman being like antithesis of each other. But is Batman insane clinically?
Ooh.
Well, nowadays, I mean, the ideal of what's clinical insanity is an open-ended question, really.
Oh, sure.
Like true insanity is being passed off as being like that's just normal, and then other people are they're saying, that guy is not right in the head, and it's like no, he just doesn't follow the norms. So what's crazy? I don't know, but I think in a certain time of the world, a certain time, yes, Batman would be viewed as having major problems.
Mental illness. I mean,
Yeah.
of some sort. I mean, yeah.
Arkham has its
That's how
place
he's-
for him.
That's how he's dealing with his trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Arkham Asylum.
But no, I kind of bring that up because one of the best like Batman-related comics or graphic novels I think has ever come out was Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum series,
House on Serious
Earth. Just the opening pages where Batman's talking to Gordon and he's preparing to, to go in to Arkham Asylum to take care of business. He's almost speaking as Bruce Wayne. He's saying, "Jim, can I talk to you for a second?" And he's like, "Batman's not afraid to go in, but I'm afraid to go in because I may feel like I'm home." So it's almost like Batman's always had, or Bruce Wayne has always had this kind of cold logic, where he's like, yeah, it's so funny that he can see that he is insane.
Right.
And maybe he belongs in Arkham along with all the other crazies.
What was that recent book? I read it. It's sitting on my nightstand right now. It's the one where he is insane. And they all of these, like the Joker and Ivy, are
Is
just
it the Curse of the White Knight, or is it the
the
Last Night on Earth?
Yes, that one. In that one, I read book 1, and he is insane. And he is strapped in a mental institution, and all of, like, Alfred's real. But the Joker's just his doctor. Ivy's just his nurse. And this is just his mind going off in such a weird place that everything that we know in this book...
He's created. He's built.
He's created in his own mind, and he's actually just strapped inside an insane asylum. And
Right.
it was
Good
such
take.
it was such a
Good
good
take.
read. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Definitely a good take.
But yeah, Batman's crazy.
Batman
Yeah,
definitely, I
Batman's-
think, could be viewed
Batman's-
as having some issues.
He's a little baddie.
That's my one per list.
But kind of getting back to our favorite, our favorite Batman list. Do you think the new Batman that's coming up, Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame, do you think we might be adding him to our list?
That's a tough one.
I haven't made up my mind with this one yet.
This is tough.
I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be yes for me.
You think so?
You also like Jared Leto's Batman.
Joker. I mean, I have appreciation for it, but also people said Heath Ledger was going to be a terrible Joker, and look, he killed it.
Right.
They let it didn't mean like that.
But they said that about every new Batman too. It's like it's probably gonna suck, but it ends up being
It's
pretty
hard to
good
fill
or
those
like
Batman
really good.
boots.
I think the problem that I know my problem going into it is I just can't get Twilight out of my head.
Sure.
Do you want a shiny, sparkly Batman?
Right,
really?
right.
Do you want a sparkly Batman?
It's not
A
that bad.
fabulous bad.
He sparkles.
Well, isn't this Batman iteration supposed to be
It's
kind of a younger Batman
in the
who's-
90s. It's like
Right, and they're gonna go the more world's greatest detective kind of angle with him.
More detective based. Yeah.
He's also gonna be
I've
trying
read
to
that.
solve a crime.
Which is ironic to me. I don't know why they've chosen to do it when they went with the younger Batman. I feel like that would have made a lot more sense with a more savvy worldly Batman who's been around the block a lot, the
Like
detective.
Ben Affleck,
Yeah,
maybe.
that would have been the time to do that. I don't know. I feel like it's not a bad idea. I don't hate the guy. It's not like I think he's going to be a bad Batman. I think he has promise.
Sure.
I don't like him that much as an actor, like personally, but
I almost want it more as like a Batman Beyond take.
he would have been perfect for
Is what-
Terry
is
McGinnis.
what- is
Yeah,
what I
interesting.
I've
could-
talked about that.
Like
before,
I
know.
think something like that would suit it better, but I don't know. I really just need to see his chin and nothing.
What do you think? But they had another actor they were going to pick instead of Robert Pattinson.
Who's that?
It was Nicholas Hoult, who played Beast
Yeah,
in the
Nicholas
the
Hoult.
First Class films, and that was their second choice. And Pattinson almost decided not to do it because of all the backlash for
Right.
being picked. Because he wasn't even confirmed yet to be Batman, and it got leaked. And then his publisher was like, "Oh, too late now. We just go forward with it."
Right.
And he almost dropped out of it.
Any
because-
press is good press, though.
Exactly.
I
but-
remember reading basically that he had not signed on
No.
yet, and everyone started saying all these things, and he just got signed on recently. Actually,
Yeah,
It
he
was
didn't
fairly
even
recent.
he didn't audition until last week or the week before last, and actually put the suit on for the first time.
It was a lot of talk that got out, and I just wonder if that was purposeful. Did they purposely leak the ideal of him being Batman as a test?
Like a feeler.
That's a test.
Yeah.
To see what people's response was. Are they going to be backlash city like Twilight, dude? This ain't gonna work, brah. Or were they going to get what they got, which was a very mixed bag of people going, I don't know, maybe. And then there's a lot of people going, I don't think so. And there's a lot of people going, yeah, that's awesome.
Well, do you think the new Pattinson Batman movie is going to connect with the Joker movie coming out soon?
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
No.
The timeline does fit though.
it fits better.
Because it's
Right.
the
Early
the-
80s.
And that's why I asked.
early 80s, and then this movie set in the 90s, and then Ben Affleck's is in the current. I mean, if you think about it, it is like, what, 10 to 20 years?
You're basically
20.
right.
It fits where if people want it to fit. They're like, oh, that's the same continuity.
I honestly feel as though they're setting all this up on purpose in case of. They're just setting things in place that if things go the way they maybe would want them to go, that they can connect.
Right.
But they're not going to connect until they either A, can connect or forcibly make it happen. I do think that Pattinson has potential. I think that the Joker movie, as we talked about last one, has potential. I'm a big fan of Joaquin. The time frame, the age difference, like a 10-year age difference would fit with like Joker being a little older than Batman. If they wanted to go that route, they could do it. I don't think they're going
As long
to.
as they don't go like Gotham TV show.
It's not that bad. Come on.
As long as it's not that bad. I think he'll do fine if we take Twilight out of it. If we take his past acting.
And which you have to do.
And which you have to do, but
I
I
mean,
feel like
you gotta allow actors to move on. Their careers
exactly.
Yeah,
for
it's just
sure.
like I think I mentioned last week, or maybe we just were talking about the ideal of Leonardo DiCaprio and Titanic.
Right.
People sometimes still,
Yeah.
Which is
get-
crazy.
it's just
Daniel
But
Radcliffe.
he's an actor.
He,
Daniel
he's
Radcliffe.
still kind of stuck with that.
He's forever like
Harry Potter.
Right.
Now he's doing a ton of indie films.
Right.
he's trying to
doing
distance
one now.
himself.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just he'll always be known as Harry Potter.
And even if he's distanced himself enough to where he can get other roles, there will be a large amount of people who's like, you'd see him in public, it's like, hey, look, it's Harry Potter. But if he can get away from
Where
it,
is it, Harry?
I'm sure it'd be good for him. But DiCaprio had the same issue with Titanic. Pattinson's going to have the same issue with Twilight. It's a double-edged sword.
Sure.
You made money, you got famous, you're now attached to something that maybe 20 years later you're like, remember me from The Revenant, not the Titanic.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape or Wolf of Wall Street?
And so there's pros and
Gatsby.
cons. I think Robert Pattinson has done different films to try to distance himself. He's doing one called The Lighthouse, which is interesting looking. I love the trailer. So, can he distance himself and become a Batman that people, the Batman for the people? Yes, he could. Will it happen? I don't know.
I'm kind of interested to see if they're going to do any like major fight scenes in that, because Batman, he fights bad guys brutally. I just wonder how they'll do that with Pattinson.
Yeah,
So-
they'll fit it in.
Oh
They'll
yeah,
make it happen.
and also they'll
Yeah.
have a pretty big rogues gallery they're picking for that movie. Supposedly it's Catwoman, Mad Hatter, possibly.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mad Hatter was one I was excited about. Possibly Penguin, and then I can't remember the other one, but there was like 4 or 5 characters that they were going to do,
Oh,
and some
wow.
of them, of course, are going to be like he runs into them and he interviews them or interrogates them, and then he's like, oh, like doing the detective work.
Or
And
makes
some of-
out with Catwoman. Or
Yeah,
something.
exactly.
As he
So
does in the comics.
I think that it's going to be interesting. I think, like most people, you're into it. Give it to us, and hopefully that it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Keep trying to make as best quality as you can.
Can we get a Danny DeVito penguin, please?
I hope so.
No.
But it's Frank Reynolds.
Just Frank
Pull
from the Toy Story.
sausages out of his pocket.
Yeah, he just eating the sausage. He's eating the fish
He
right out of
just
his
sexually
pocket.
harasses women. That's all he does.
Yeah,
But
mantis toboggan.
But in conclusion, guys, before we wrap up, let's do another around the table again. Rogues Gallery. Who's our favorite villain? Top favorite villain, guys. Josh, you do. We pointed at you first. Okay.
I like.
It's not an easy choice.
I like Two-Face. I like Scarecrow, but I think I like Poison Ivy. It's kind of topsy pixies for me.
Nice.
Deshaun?
Well, with me,
Phil?
oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, Joker's obvious choice, but I probably should have prefaced with except Joker.
Yeah.
But I kind of dig Clayface. I dig
Okay.
his angle, especially in the animated series. How
Right.
they kind of.
There's so many Clayfaces though. Do you
That's
like?
true.
Do you like?
I like. Okay, I'll
Basil
say that-
Carlo? Do you
I
like Matthew Hagen?
I like animated series
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
because I just like that angle that he's this actor who's trying to cover up his face and then got mixed up with these chemicals, and just that ending of that first
Oh my gosh.
episode with him was just.
He always reminded me of like Jabba the Hutt for some reason in the face. I don't know why. It just reminded me of Jabba.
You talking about Clayface or Phil? I was supposed to say, that's rude.
Clayface.
I was like, oh my god, Sean, really?
Clayface.
I'll be your
Clayface.
lawyer.
Well, hey, if a bikini-clad woman chokes me to death, whatever. I'll probably just go with it.
Okay.
Ho, ho,
Villain.
ho.
There's so many that I like because I appreciate them all to some degree. Victor Zsasz is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He's just really dark, sad character. Mad Hatter. Hush. Hush is a character I really wish they'd put in a movie. He would be great within the Robert Pattinson movie, having someone very similar to him kind of be obsessive compulsive with him. Calendar Man.
Calendar Man actually is a really good choice.
Long Halloween. I mean that the Hannibal Lecter style character, just really is unique. But there's too many. Anarchy.
Yeah, I mean, Zaz is cool because like he's just like a very vicious serial killer. He doesn't shoot ice beams or he doesn't have clown makeup. He's just like a vicious,
carves into his skin
evil
every tally.
serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. So I have so many. Sean?
Okay, for me, villain, Batman. And just remember, people.
Inception.
Remember, people. You just let the police do the work for you. We don't need no vigilantes out there. All right, Batman is a bad man, and we don't need people like that. So, as far as my favorite villain is Batman. That's what I say.
That's a very Sean type of answer.
Yeah, no kidding. Just
absolute
garbage.
It's one that probably you guys, in the video game series, Arkham Knight.
Ooh, who?
Arkham Knight.
Oh, Arkham Knight.
Yeah, right.
So do you like the character of Arkham Knight who's now getting remade in the current continuity of
Rebuilt
comic
in the
books, or do you
comics,
like
put in the
Jason
continuity.
Todd's Red Hood as Arkham Knight, which I just played today again. I played that before I came here to work
Nice.
today.
Yeah.
Okay, that one of my favorites too, man.
It was great. It was such a twist. So if you haven't played Batman Arkham Knight, play it and you'll know exactly.
It's actually
Arkham Knight.
it's for free right now on PlayStation Network. Believe it
Oh,
or not.
there you
What's it
go.
on PS3, 360? Arkham Knight?
No,
next
PS,
gen.
PS4, Xbox
PS4.
One.
Okay.
But it's for
But
free right now.
Make
so.
sure you play it on a computer like an actual person.
Or you can come in and buy it if we have a copy.
We,
of it.
we actually have a copy of it. We have
Yay!
two for
There you
PlayStation
go.
4.
For
Nice.
PS4.
So.
Man, I'm working those plugs in.
By the way,
Always.
Go.
no,
Go.
go ahead.
No.
Oh yeah, go.
Thanks, Josh. I was going to say one thing real quick. Guess who Bob Kane's favorite Batman was?
Oh yeah, right.
It's Val Kilmer.
Really?
He thinks he's the perfect Bruce Wayne and Batman. That was when he actually got to be on set of the third Batman film, Batman Forever, and said that was his favorite for sure. So I just didn't know.
Iceman? Isn't he Iceman? Which one was he? He wasn't Maverick. What was he? Iceman?
No, he was
Yeah,
he
it's
was
Iceman.
Iceman.
Yeah, it's Iceman. Yeah, Iceman is his favorite Batman.
Man, that volleyball scene, right?
Oh, man.
Which one? I think it's Batman versus Robin. What killed the dinosaurs?
Oh, Batman and Robin.
The
Yeah.
Ice Age.
I still quote that movie.
Yeah.
Chill. Chill.
You need
So
to
bad.
cool down, man.
If ever a movie
Nice
was
to meet
made,
you.
if ever a movie was made to kill a franchise, it was Batman.
Oh,
and George
and
Clooney.
Robin.
I still have that on
George
VHS.
Clooney's fine. George Clooney wasn't the issue. It was Joel Schumacher and his acid trip.
George, I don't know.
George Clooney was fine. It was just that you can't give him any credit.
It was
because
also
such a
very
bad
bad writing.
movie.
It was bad.
Oh,
Catch
that's right.
the code.
He's Mr. Icicle. They had a whole scene with the snow
goodness.
miser.
I forgot about him ice skating.
I am mad.
I know. Bat skate. Robin skate.
Then George Clooney's like,
Like, how are they prepared?
I never
for
leave home without it.
They watched Go Go
American
Gadget. They watched Mr. Gadget before it went on.
How are they
It was-
prepared for specifically
Who
ice-related
comes prepared for that?
No.
Who comes prepared?
And that was the first time they met.
That-
Really.
I'm not gonna lie. If I fight a dude with ice, I'm
You
gonna
would have
bring
ice
ice
skates?
skates.
Like,
Like,
why
Yeah,
not?
but
But
how
how
the first
do
time they
know
met?
before they meet him?
That was like one of the first times they met, so he's like, I'm just going to bring my ice skates today.
I
my
just
bat
need to
skates."
have these.
You never know.
I wonder if he also had roller skates in there too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
Like, what
guy
does
Billy's-
he have to fight
He just
off?
turns into a roller derby.
Right.
Like a musical.
What if he like has to fight someone like working at a Sonic? You know, I mean, you got to have those roller skates
him.
on. Yeah, I don't know.
The cherry limeade.
It's a little too prepared is what I was saying.
Oh,
But Batman's
man.
prepared for
I
everything.
don't think it was winter in that film, but
Uma Thurman.
but all right, guys. Well, that brings us to the conclusion of episode 2.
Chautauqua, end of September, last weekend, Saturday,
Yes.
Sunday.
You okay, Sean? Just die right now.
You can do it. Breathe, my
Chautauqua.
brother.
Gotta come for Chautauqua.
He hasn't
Don't touch
breathed.
me.
Batman Day is Saturday, guys.
Batman Day, yeah, this
Be sure
Saturday.
you check out what we got going on at the shop, and also Mayor's movie in the park, Lego Batman.
You
Lego
might-
Batman
And like
movie.
I said, you might see a awesome interpretation of
Of a famous Batman villain.
villain.
It's going to be fun no matter what. Batman Day, come out for it, 11 to 6 this coming Saturday. I don't know when you're even going to listen to this thing, so it's really confusing because I'm talking about it. It might already be done by the time you hear it. But if it is done, keep coming. We got look for different videos that we'll have and keep checking in with us on Facebook and I guess on YouTube as well.
Yeah, please, guys, show your support for the shop, for the podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. Let's build that audience up so we can get into cons as official press and have something official going on with this, all the shenanigans.
If you enjoy us, if you enjoy any of this, any of the videos, any of the podcasts, give it to your friends. Forward this on. Pass it around.
You're so old. You don't know how to say it.
I do, but it's like
arrow button.
But I get a lot of text messages with videos in it, and see, they're not really. They're forwarding them. Like they're
still
just
sharing.
Like, it's sharing.
Like print it out on some CDs and then, like stamp AOL at it and stand at Walmart and pass them out.
You want to listen to my mixtape?
Pass them out on the quad.
You've got podcast.
All right. Good night, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
See ya.
Love ya.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Give me back my pen.
No.
Give me this.